She had a baby? What? Hey guys, Madison here, back for another Film Friday, and today I am going to be watching a much requested classic Western. I'm watching Stagecoach, which so many people have been asking for this for a while, so if you're one of them, it's here. It's finally here. I believe this was John Wayne's kind of first big role, and before this it had been mainly like smaller roles, and I believe this film was directed by John Ford. If it's not, I'm sorry. I'm going purely off of memory here. I didn't want to look anything up and get spoiled. But I believe this is directed by John Ford, and maybe this was his first collaboration between him and John Wayne. And of course, they both worked together many times over the years making Westerns, both of them just icons of the genre. I believe this will be the oldest movie I have ever reacted to. I don't think I've ever gone back into the 1930s. I think the 1940s is as far back as I've gone, but this movie came out in 1939. So we're throwing it way back today, guys, to the earliest days of the Western as we know it today. And I'm excited to go back and watch this forerunner of my favorite genre. Other than, again, I believe John Ford and John Wayne, I know nothing about this movie. So another completely blind watch for me. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to educating myself more about the early days of the Western. So without further ado, guys, it's time to watch the movie. So let's jump in and let's check out Stagecoach. Oh, that grainy old footage look. We love to see it. Is this the cavalry? Yes, I was right. It is John Ford. Okay. That was going to be embarrassing. Well, we moving, boys. Yes, this is the cavalry. Okay.
These hills here full of Apaches. They weren't ever ranch building in sight. They're being stirred up by Geronimo. That's Lawsburg now, sir. They seem to have something very urgent to tell you, sir. The line went dead, sir.
What do you got there?
Only the first word, sir.
Geronimo.
Geronimo! What's crazy about when this movie was made is that it's not even that long after the Wild West. Because, I mean, like, the early 1900s, like, all the way up to 1910, 1911, like, still kind of the Old West. So that's what's so crazy about this. It's like making a Western in the era of the Western, almost. Oh, that was the cute little fall.
Got the payroll for the mining company?
Yes, sir, right here in this box.
Good. Give me a lift here, Jim, will you?
I've seen this guy, but I can't remember what Western it was in. I remember his voice.
Is there a place here where I can have a cup of tea?
You can get a cup of coffee at the hotel across the street there. You look a little...
I'll be all right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Why, Lucy Mallory. Why, whatever are you doing in Arizona?
I'm joining Richard in Lordsburg.
He's been ordered to drive port.
Why, that's the next stop for the stagecoach. You'll be with your husband in a few hours.
Or will she? I feel like something's gonna happen to that stagecoach.
You must be tired from that long
Who
trip.
is that gentleman?
Hardly a gentleman, Mrs. Mallory.
He's a notorious gambler.
Why was he staring at them like that?
Well, Marshal, I'm looking for my shotgun guard. Is he here?
How with the posse, Buck, trying to catch the Ringo Kid?
My guess the kid's aiming to get even with them plumber boys. Their testimony sent him to the penitentiary.
Why, gosh, Luke's run all of Ringo's friends out of Lordsburg.
Goodness.
You seen Luke Plummer in Lordsburg?
Yes, sir-ree.
You boys take care of the office for a couple of days. I'm going to Lordsburg with Buck.
Now that's what we call a spur-of-the-moment decision.
Here's the payroll, Mr. Gateway.
There's your receipt. $50,000. And remember this, what's good for the banks is good for the country.
What? I don't know about that.
Get out and stand. I'm keeping your trunk because you ain't paid your rent.
Is this the face that wrecked 1,000 ships and burned the towerless tops of Ilium? Farewell.
Well, that was dramatic.
Do I have to
Now,
go?
Dallas, don't you go making no fuss. Don't blame these ladies. It ain't them.
It is them.
We're the victims of a foul disease called social prejudice, my child. Law and Order League are scouring out the dregs of the town.
You get going, Doc. You're drunk.
Just two of the kind.
Take my arm, Madame la Comtesse.
There it is. We shall gather at the river. It's in like every John Ford Western.
If ever you go east, brother, come out to our house for dinner.
There's a horse looking in the window. 2 horses.
Here's a man going on the stagecoach with you.
Your health, Reverend.
I'm not a clergyman. I'm a...
He's a whiskey drummer.
What? Well, how are you? Don't tell me, sir. I know. I never forget a face or a friend. Samples?
Yeah, I'm sure he has no ulterior motive in befriending this man. That guy's like, I don't think I want to be on the stagecoach with this man. I think I'm gonna wait for the next one. So it seems we're setting up the group that's going to be getting on the stagecoach.
I want $5, Henry. I want to pay the butcher. Dinner's at 12 o'clock. I've invited the ladies of the Law and Order League.
He seems perturbed by this. What was that?
In you go, Dallas, and a pleasant voyage.
So she was what they called a soiled dove, and then her husband, the alcoholic. So they're classy ladies of the town, are very eager to see them go.
You're not going to let your friend travel with that creature.
Besides, you're not well enough to travel.
It's only a few hours, Nancy. I'm quite all right.
You shouldn't travel a step without a doctor.
There is a doctor, dear. The driver told me. Doc Boone? He couldn't doctor a horse.
Pleasant journey, Mrs. Mallory.
Who is this gambler?
Like an angel in the jungle.
What are you doing, Hatfield? Talking to yourself?
You wouldn't understand, cowboy. You've never seen an angel, nor a great lady.
Captain Sickles asks if you deliver this dispatch in Lordsburg the moment you arrive. The telegraph line has been cut. We're going with you as far as the noon station at Dry Fork. You must warn your passengers that they travel at their own risk.
Well, what's the trouble, Lieutenant?
Geronimo.
Geronimo, well then I ain't
Will you
go-
sit down? Did you all hear what the lieutenant said? Now, whoever wants to get out can get out.
Yes, courage, Reverend.
He's not a reverend.
They got me in here, and I'll let him try to put me out. My husband is with his troops in Dry Fork. If he's in danger, I want to be with him.
You see, brother, I have a wife and 5 children.
Then you're a man. By all the powers that be, Reverend, you're a man.
Oh my goodness.
I'm offering my protection to this lady.
Oh, I want to watch him. He's kind of slimy. I don't know how slimy yet.
Oh, Curly, we
Get
should-
going, Buck.
Farewell, ladies.
Sweetheart!
This is quite a crew here.
Sure is, Mr. Gatewood. Going to Lordsburg?
That's right, just got a telegram.
Can we fit another person in here? That is a full stagecoach. At least they're gonna have an escort for a lot of the way. They're gonna need it, I have a feeling.
Well, there's anything I don't like is driving a stagecoach through Apache country.
Funny catching Gatewood outside of town that way.
My wife's got more relatives than anyone you ever did see.
That seem funny to you about Gatewood?
Yeah, and then what do I get to eat when I get home in Lordsburg? Nothing but beans, beans, beans.
Nothing but beans, beans, beans.
Fine looking bunch of soldier boys back there. Anybody know where they're going?
Aren't you aware of what's happening?
I don't follow you, Reverend.
I'm not a clergyman.
We're all going to be scouting. That's why the soldiers are with us. He's joking, of course.
I don't think so. He's just too drunk to care.
Geronimo. He's jumped the reservation. Down the wall path. Why weren't the passengers notified? Why wasn't I told?
Weren't you told when you got that message from Lordsburg?
Oh, yes, of course, I forgot.
He's not quite so chipper after that conversation.
I can't figure out how he got that message. Gatewood said he got a message. The telegraph line ain't working.
A fair point.
Hold it!
Hey!
Hey, look, it's Ringo.
Yeah.
Hello, Curly.
He's Ringo.
Didn't expect to see you riding shotgun on this run, Marshal.
Going to Lordsburg? I figured you'd be there by this time.
Lame horse.
I'll take the Winchester. You're under arrest.
Hope I ain't crowding you folks, Narn.
Well... This is an interesting turn of events. I don't know why I was assuming John Wayne was going to be playing her husband in the cavalry that she was going to meet up with. Did not see this coming.
So you're the notorious Ringo Kid.
Right name's Henry.
Seems to me I knew your family, Henry. Didn't I fix your arm once when you bucked off a horse?
Are you Doc Boone?
I certainly am. I just been honorably discharged from the Union Army after the War of the Rebellion.
You mean the war for the Southern Confederacy, sir?
I mean nothing of the kind, sir.
You did a good job, Doc.
Thank you, son. Professional compliments are always pleasing.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
That was my kid brother broke his arm. He was murdered.
That took a dark turn. I wonder if those plumbers they were talking about were involved with that, because aren't they outlaws of some kind?
Put off that cigar. You're annoying this lady.
Yeah, man.
A gentleman doesn't smoke in the presence of a lady.
3 weeks ago, I took a bullet out of a man who was shot by a gentleman. The bullet was in his back.
You mean to insinuate...
Sit down, mister. Doc don't mean no harm.
We've got a northern and southern and gentleman versus non-gentleman conflict happening here. A cultural conflict, if you will.
Great heavens, the Betsy didn't figure on no stagecoach coming through with them Apaches raising cake.
You mean to say there are no troops at this station?
Ain't no soldiers here but what you see.
But my husband, Captain Mallory.
Got orders not to pull off to join the soldiers at Apache Wells.
You started this coach for Lordsburg, and it's your duty to get us there. And it's your duty, young man, to come along with us.
My orders are to return from here immediately, and I can't disobey those orders.
Well, if the soldiers go back, so am I. I call this a desertion of duty, and if necessary, I'll take the matter up with Washington.
If you give us any trouble here, I'll have to put you under restraint.
I'll tell you how we settle it. We'll take a vote. Inside, everybody.
Well, this is a predicament. So now they're going to go on with no escort.
I ain't gonna put a lady in danger without she votes for it.
I'm determined to get to my husband.
What's your vote, mister?
Where's your manners, Curly? Ain't you gonna ask the other lady first?
He doesn't look at her like a lady.
What difference does it make? Doesn't matter.
I vote that we go on.
What do you say, Hatfield?
Lordsburg.
You, Doc?
I've always courted danger when I had the honor to serve the Union under our great president and General Phil Sheridan.
Sheridan.
How about you, Mr. Hancock?
Peacock, under the circumstances, I think it best we go back with the bosoms. I mean, the soldiers.
Well, folks, that settles it. We're going through. Come on, Buck. We'll change them horses.
No, but Curly, ain't we gonna eat?
Eat later.
Oh.
He always plays the complaining, cowardly character.
Sit down here, ma'am.
I like the respect he shows her when everyone else kind of treats her like an outcast because of her occupation.
May I find you another place, Mrs. Mallory? It's cooler by the window.
Thank you.
Oh, she's really gonna get up and move. Well, dang. Oh, okay, she's just moving farther down the table. That really makes a difference. All it does is just make you go out of your way to insult somebody.
Looks like I got the plague, don't it?
No, it's not you. Please. Please.
You're ill, Mrs. Mallory.
I'll be all right. Have you ever been in Virginia?
I was in your father's regiment.
Ooh.
I should remember your name. You're Mr. Hatfield.
So he knew her father. Okay, so I thought they were just complete total strangers, but apparently not.
Ain't I seen you someplace before, ma'am?
No, you haven't.
I wish I had, though.
I know you. I mean, I guess everybody in the territory does.
Well, I used to be a good cowhand, but things happen.
Yeah, that's it. Things happen.
The horses are changed. We better get going.
Got some interesting character relationships developing here. There goes the safety escort. Got some beautiful clouds in this movie. I keep noticing them in the shots.
Bang, bang, baby! Go!
He moves his hands way too much when he's driving the coach. It drives me crazy. Hold your hands still.
If I was you, I'd let him shoot it out. Luke Plummer and the kid.
In the first place, Luke would kill the kid in the gunfight. In the second place, if Luke did get shot, he's got two brothers just as ornery as he is. Nah, the only safe place for Ringo is in the pen.
I figured you were after the reward.
Why, the kid's old man and me was friends. We used to punch cattle together.
I don't know what the government is coming to. Instead of protecting businessmen, it pokes its nose into business.
His face is so wet.
What this country needs is more fuddle.
What?
Fuddle. Your guns. I'm happy, great one. Who?
Okay, but I love the drunk doctor and the whiskey peddler duo. They're hilarious.
How come you're taking this road? It's going to be cold up there.
Those rich crowd Apaches don't like snow.
So I thought Peacock was sweating, but the other guy was just talking about snow, so it must be freezing.
You can put your head on my shoulder. No, thank you.
How are you feeling, Mrs. Mallory?
Is there any water? Haven't I seen this crest before? Isn't this from Greenfield Manor?
Uh-oh. Did he steal that cup from somebody? Is he like a thief, too, and not just a gambler? I feel like there's some kind of plot twist coming.
How about the other lady? No silver cups.
This is fine.
I like this duo, too, with her and Ringo. It's sweet. He treats her like a lady when no one else does. When you see stuff like this, you're reminded of how easy we have it now with our air conditioning or heat in our cars when we're driving, not just freezing our butts off or sweating to death. And stagecoaches are so bumpy too. Man, is there like a dust storm going on? What is happening? They actually made it. I was just convinced there was going to be an Indian attack, but maybe later. I won't speak too soon.
Howdy, Chris. 7 hours from Dry Fork. Pretty fast driving, amigo.
Where's Captain Mallory?
Soldiers take Captain Morales to Lawrenceburg. I think he'd get hurt, maybe.
Badly?
Si, senora.
Uh-oh.
I'm awfully sorry. If there's anything I can... Quite all right, thank you.
Man, why you gotta be such a jerk to her? She's just trying to help. Uh-oh.
Marshal! There, quickly!
She's not used to the extremities of traveling like this, and then the emotional stress of worrying about her husband.
Ringo, go in the kitchen and get some hot water. Lots of hot water.
Fine member of the medical profession.
Give me coffee, black coffee.
More, ain't got enough, Doc. That's 4.
Keep it coming,
I know you'll have it coming out your ears in a minute.
My goodness.
Again.
Wonder if he picked up that habit of drinking while he was in the army, and that's his way of coping.
My wife, Yakima, my squaw.
Yes, but she's savage.
Si, senor. She's a little bit savage, I think.
The way he said that.
Woman's an Apache.
Sure, she's one of Geronimo's people.
Oh, really? I love how unconcerned he is about it, and they're all like...
All right, Doc.
All right. All right, Alice.
Man, despite Mrs. Mallory being such a jerk to her, Alice, that's her name, right? She's so eager to help her fellow woman. You gotta love her.
Las notas tristes me traen recuerdos de aquel.
Ringo!
It's them vaqueros. They've run away.
Yeah, with the spare horses.
Oh my goodness. So was she telling them to sneak off and run away while she sang as a distraction? He said she was one of Geronimo's people.
Them coyotes give me the creeps. It sounds just like a baby.
She had a baby? What? That was my first thought when I heard the baby crying, and then he said something about coyotes, and I'm like, oh, okay, it wasn't a baby. And now I'm like, it was. Oh my goodness. Well, no wonder she fainted.
It's a baby.
It's a little girl.
Don't do that.
Well, this complicates things even more. Traveling with a baby. Oh no. In a crowded stagecoach. Good job, Doc. You came through when we needed you.
I know why you want to go to Lawrenceburg. If you know who in Lawrenceburg, you stay away, I think.
Luke Plummer?
Luke, Ike, and Hank, all there together. I saw them.
That's all I wanted to know.
So he's on like a revenge quest. That's a nice shot right there. I love it.
Say, look, kid, why don't you try to escape? Why don't you make for the border now?
My father and brother were shot down by the Plummer boys.
I lost mine when I was a kid.
Look, Miss Dallas, you got no folks. Neither have I. And, well, I still got a ranch across the border. It's a nice place. A real nice place.
He's making his move.
There you go.
But you don't know me.
I know all I want to know.
Really? You just met her. There's a lot to learn yet.
Oh, don't talk like that.
She's conflicted. Things happen fast in the Old West, but that is a lot to ask of her so quickly.
Hey, what's wrong, Chris? My wife, Yakima, she ran away. When I woke up, she was gone.
Oh, boy.
I love her so much. I beat it with a whip, and she never get tired.
Your wife?
No, my horse. I can find another wife easy, yes, but not a horse like that.
Where's my valise? Which one of you got it?
Here it is. I was using it for a pillow. I didn't think...
But I told you to keep your hands off my thing.
He's so uptight.
Is this bar open?
Sure, all the time, Senor C.
Doc had just woke up. Oh, my goodness.
Better get going for Lordsburg as soon as we can.
Might be a good idea, Curly, if Doc took a look at the patient.
Yeah, and little Coyote.
You'll join me, Doctor?
No, thanks. Well, you're looking pretty chipper.
She never looks chipper.
You're up early, Dallas.
She didn't go to bed, Doctor. I'm afraid she sat up all night while I slept.
How about making some coffee for the boys? Now, you get some sleep, Mrs. Mallory.
Doc, Ringo asked me to marry him. Is that wrong for a girl like me?
No.
It's all right, ain't it, Doc?
Yeah.
If you two go into Lordsburg together, he's got to know all about you.
He's not going into Lordsburg. All I want is for you to tell me it's all right.
Go ahead. Do it if you can.
I mean, girl, if you get a chance at happiness, take it. And hopefully he doesn't go to prison.
There's a young woman in the kitchen making coffee. She needs help.
Thanks, Doc. Morning, ma'am. I laid awake most of the night. Guess you was up kind of late, too. You didn't answer what I asked you last night.
Why don't you try to escape?
I gotta go to Lordsburg.
Haven't got a chance. We'll be 3 against 1 in Lordsburg.
Well, there's some things a man just can't run away from.
Would it make us any happier if Luke Plummer was dead? Make for the border and I'll come to you. I'll come to you from Lordsburg, I swear it.
Well, I'll have a rifle and some...
I've got one. I got it last night when they were all asleep.
You mean you thought of this last night?
Yeah, don't ask any more questions. Not now.
I like them together.
You can still go back to Tonto. No, I insist we go on to Lordsburg.
What do you think, Chris?
Geronimo, between here and Lordsburg, with my horse, I think.
My horse
No,
has
Doc,
gone.
Quiet, Doc. This is a serious matter, ain't it?
If I have only 1 hour to live, I'm going to enjoy myself.
And be completely useless as a fight breaks out.
Ringo. Ringo!
And there he goes.
Ringo, don't stop! Go on, go on!
What's he doing?
You don't need them, Curly. I ain't gonna run away.
I'll say you ain't.
Look at them hills.
Oh boy. No way they're gonna outrun those Apaches if they want to catch them.
Can't you drive any faster? Thick-headed lout. And works all his life to get a hold of some money so that he can enjoy life and has to run into a trap like this.
You mean the Apaches? There's been no sign of them.
Oh, there's been signs of them.
If you hadn't insisted on waiting for her, we'd have been across the ferry by this time.
You talk too much, Gatewood.
Your threats don't faze me, Hatfield.
Take it easy, Gatewood. We may need that fighting before we get to the ferry.
Folks are coming into East Bay now.
Lordsburg, next stop!
Oh no.
Curly, look!
Is that...
Look at the ferry! It's where to?
Oh, okay. So they're not to Lawrenceburg yet. I was gonna say, is Lawrenceburg just burned to a crisp?
You give me your word you won't try to escape again?
I'll give you my word. To Lordsburg.
Huck, drive into the river up to the huts.
Gonna drive across? Oh my goodness.
Ed, take your suspenders and cross-tie them wheelers. Ready, Buck? All ready, Curly. Here we go.
Oh my goodness.
All right,
Oh, I love the camera mounted on the stage here. That's so cool. Oh, wow. They made it without a ferry. no. Geronimo, I presume.
Well, we'll soon be in Losbury. Sorry I flew off the handle, Hatfield.
You're about to be flying off the handle at any moment now.
Well, now that the danger's past, Mr. Peacock, I'd like to propose a toast. Your health.
Thank you, sir.
Not Peacock. No. Why couldn't it have been Gatewood? Why? Killing Peacock like that, that's a crime. My goodness. Oh my gosh, no way. Can't outrun him. Be really nice if the cavalry showed up right about now because these guys are screwed. You might want to unhandcuff the kid. Okay, good. Oh my gosh, don't get near the window. Duck or something. Oh my goodness. There's just too many of them. If they hit one of the horses, I mean, if they take out one of those stagecoach horses, they're done. Oh no. No. Oh gosh. Ooh. And he survived. They're catching up. Why are none of them shooting? The Indians would have guns and they'd be shooting at them. They would have shot those horses by now. Oh, I spoke too soon. Oh my goodness. That is nuts. I've never seen this before in a Western. Wow. Uh-oh. Everybody's out of ammo. Dude, no! What are you doing?
Do you hear it? It's the bugle.
Oh, thank the Lord. Gosh, I'm like, heaven's sake, don't shoot the lady. I know he was like trying to defend her honor probably or whatever, but like, dude, she didn't give her consent for you to shoot her.
If you see Judge Greenfield, tell him his son.
What happened? He didn't shoot himself, right? One of the Indians shot him and that's why he dropped the gun? Dadgummit. Why did he have to be the one who died? I liked him. Is Peacock gonna make it or did he die too? And again I say, why couldn't it have been Gatewood? The one I didn't like.
Where's Richard? Is he all right?
Oh, he's all right. Don't you worry.
It isn't a bad wound.
We'll take you to him immediately.
Oh, okay. So Hatfield is okay.
I'll take the baby.
Dallas. If there's ever anything I can do for...
I know.
Aw, that was a good moment. It's finally showing some gratitude. Now what's gonna happen with Ringo and the plumbers?
Aces and eights. Dead man's hand, Luke.
The dead man's hand.
Yeah, driving the stage.
Mis hermanos.
Sí, patrón. Un momento.
They're like, oh no.
Goodbye, Miss Dallas. If you ever come to Kansas City, Kansas, I want you to come out to see us.
Thanks, Mr.
Peacock.
So he's gonna make it. Thank goodness.
Curly, how long will they give me for breaking up?
Oh, about another year.
You know where my ranch is?
Yeah.
Will you see that she gets there all right?
Sure.
Ringo, you need to be going there with Dallas.
What's your name, mister?
Ellsworth H. Gatewood.
You didn't think they'd have the telegraph wires fixed, did you?
You
So he was a thief? I guess I missed that. Oh, he's the one who was packing something in his suitcase at the beginning, and I was like, what is he putting in there? Well, good thing Justice caught up with him.
Can I meet you back here in 10 minutes? I gave you my word, Curly. I ain't going back on it now.
No ammunition.
I lied to you, Curly. Got 3 left.
He better not die.
Good night, kid. Oh, been a crazy dream. Been out of my mind just hoping. Say goodbye here, kid.
We ain't never gonna say goodbye.
Did I have that?
The suspense, guys.
Shotgun.
Hey, that stuff's expensive, man.
I told you not to follow me.
Dallas.
I asked you to marry me, didn't I?
I'll never forget to ask me, kid. That's something.
Wait here.
Ringo said he'll be passing this way in 6 or 7 minutes.
Why give him a heads up?
I'll have you indicted for murder if you step outside with that shotgun.
We'll attend to you later.
Doc has some guts. Well, it might have to do with the fact that he's been drinking liquid courage.
Billy, kill that story about the Republican convention in Chicago and take this down. The Ringo Kid was killed on Main Street in Lordsburg tonight.
You might not want to report that yet. Might turn out different than you expect. Must be extra bad luck to shoot at a black cat. Please tell me he did it. Yes. Please tell me he hasn't been shot too.
Ready, kid?
Thanks, Curly. Curly's gonna see that you get to my place across the border.
Okay, he's going to jail.
Maybe you'd like to ride a ways with a kid.
Please.
Thank goodness he didn't get shot.
They're saved from the blessings of civilization.
Doc, I'll buy you a drink.
Just one.
Oh, yay! Oh, I loved that. That was fantastic. I was so afraid that Ringo was gonna get shot and die at the end and it was gonna be all tragic. And then I was like, oh, he didn't get shot, he's fine, but now he has to go to jail for a year, so she's gonna be by herself and sad for a year. And then it was like, nope, they get there happily ever after. The lawman just lets him go. That was such a nice surprise at the end when they were like, yeah, and just sent the horses off. It was great. And that swell of the music there was awesome. I mean, can John Ford make a bad Western? I don't think so. I can definitely see how this one was kind of the forerunner for everything that was to come. It had so many of the classic tropes and motifs and character archetypes that we tend to see in Westerns, especially like classic era Westerns, like the gunslinging young cowboy with Ringo. And we had the soiled dove with a heart of gold and the lady and the southern gentleman and so on and so forth. We had so many of those character archetypes all crammed into one Stagecoach. And what I loved is there was always the Apache threat looming over the whole story, and we were waiting for that the whole time. And I love that they saved it till almost the very end, and just the threat of it was enough to keep the tension going. But the rest of the tension and the conflict was really carried by the characters' just interpersonal conflict between the group that was traveling in the stagecoach and then staying in that little town together, that abandoned town, I should say. Seeing that conflict was just as interesting, if not more interesting, than worrying about the potential Indian attack down the road. We had the Union versus Southerner conflict and the lady versus the working girl conflict, and just all the kind of class conflicts that happened back then. Like, respectable ladies were not supposed to associate with the working girls, and that North versus South hatred that was still there in the Old West time period because it was so soon after the Civil War. We've got the lawman and we've got the drunkard. I mean, there was just a lot at play. And I really enjoyed the characters in this movie and the cast that played them. Really a good bunch with a lot of interesting chemistry together. There were so many funny moments, but also just really moving moments as well. And I love romance in my Westerns, so I loved the romance with Ringo and Dallas. I thought her name was Alice at first, and then I realized they were saying Dallas, but I thought that relationship was so sweet between her and the outlaw, and I loved how he treated her compared to how everybody else was treating her. And I loved that relationship between her and Mrs. Mallory slowly developed over the course of the movie as well, where she would have nothing to do with Dallas. And then by the end, she finally is grateful to Dallas for all that she's done for her and her child, which, oh my gosh, I did not realize she was pregnant. They probably were dropping hints and they went whoop, right over my head. And so suddenly she's had a baby and I was like, whoa, this is a plot twist. And it just occurred to me, like right when the movie ended, that I thought she was saying Hatfield was okay, like when she was asking about Richard, and then I realized Richard is her husband, I think. So her husband was okay, like he survived his injuries from the battle with the Apache, but I think Hatfield did die. So everyone survived but Hatfield, because I think Peacock was going to survive, and unfortunately even Gatewood survived. I'm like, darn it, I wish he was the one that had gotten shot. But so I'm assuming they didn't show it, and that always confuses me when they do that, but I think Hatfield got shot by an Indian when he was about to shoot Mrs. Mallory, I think is what happened. I don't think he shot himself. That wouldn't have really made any sense. So I think that's what happened there, and that's unfortunate. I mean, I'm glad he didn't shoot Mrs. Mallory, because I didn't want that to happen either, but I wish that he wasn't the one that got killed, because he was a gentleman, and he just took her under his wing and took care of her the whole trip and really looked after her, because I guess of his previous connection with her father, knowing him and serving in the same unit, so he cared about her and making sure she got to where she wanted to go. I almost wonder if, like, her father was killed in the war, and so that was why Hatfield felt such a strong responsibility toward her to make sure she arrived where she was going safely, because maybe he couldn't protect her father or something and he died on the battlefield. I don't know. I like to fill in holes for myself when they pose some questions but don't necessarily answer all of them. I like to fill in those story gaps myself. But I really liked the little bits of history they dropped in there between certain characters. And that sequence with the Apaches chasing the stagecoach was pretty darn amazing. I thought it was a little bit implausible because I felt like the Indians would have just wiped them out before the cavalry got there. If the cavalry had gotten there faster, it would have been more plausible to me, but the fact that the Indians were just chasing them forever and not really shooting a whole lot, it was like, I don't know. I feel like they would have just shot the horses and been done with it. Like they would have shot the horses pulling the stagecoach, and then boom, the stagecoach crashes and then they have the total advantage. But it was like they kept shooting at the people in the coach, which I don't feel like they would have been doing. Maybe a little bit, but I feel like they would have just shot the horses and gone from there. So that part was a bit implausible to me, but moving past that, I loved the sequence at the end. They did so much in this movie. Like there was so much and so many like kind of mini plots put into one movie that was like an hour and a half long. It was pretty amazing how much they managed to stuff into this movie without it feeling overcrowded or like too much. We've got the romance between Ringo and Dallas. We've got the new mom, Mrs. Mallory, and her baby trying to get to her wounded husband, who keeps not being at the place she thinks he's going to be at. And then we've got the cavalry conflict with the Indians going on. We've got Peacock trying to get home to see his family. We've got the drunk doctor. And I mean, there was just so much going on, so many little subplots, but it worked so well. And we even managed to squeeze in a revenge plot with Ringo trying to get revenge on the plumbers for what they did to his family. So, I mean, we had so much going on, like, definitely never a moment of boredom in this movie. I was loving the interpersonal conflict and the developing of relationships between the different characters, the group on the stagecoach. What a joy to watch. Like, this cast was just wonderful and played off each other so well. The action was great. The music, of course, and yeah, I can definitely see how this was really just a classic that kicked off that era of Westerns and really just set the stage for so many classics to come. And I'm so glad I finally got to watch this one. Like I said at the start, so many people have been asking me to watch this one because it was the forerunner for so many Westerns coming down the road. And of course, John Wayne's breakout role, a legend in the making. He did a fantastic job in this movie. Really enjoyed him. And yeah, I'm just so glad I finally got to watch this. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you haven't. Head on over to my Patreon, link in the description below if you want to see the full-length watch along. And I will see you guys next week for another Film Friday.